So I applied to medical school 4 years ago, and from the application process up until now, where I am about to start 4th year of medical school, there is so much I regret. Here's what I wish I did differently and how you can avoid making the same mistakes I made. Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name is Hazal and I have just finished my 3rd year of medical school. I run this channel with my best friend Liddy and we use it to document our lives to becoming doctors while sharing some student tips along the way. In this video, I'm going to take you guys through every single thing I regret doing or not doing since wanting to apply to medical school. If you don't know already, the medical school application process is very long and very exhausting. You have your UCAT, BMAT, work experience, personal statements, interviews, alongside revising for your A-levels, which at the time were the most important exams of my life. As you guys can see, applying was not easy, but I didn't make it any easier for myself by stressing about every little thing. One very vivid example I have of my overthinking and worrying was when I had my King's College interview. My King's College interview was my very first medical interview and I had it at the end of November, which was pretty early. My interview went okay and I didn't actually worry too much during the interview. The worrying came as soon as I stepped out of that interview room. I spent the next 3 months checking my emails every single second of every single day, waiting for a response. It got to the point where every single new notification on my phone made me anxious because I thought it could be a reply from the university, and it was just not healthy at all. But it didn't even just stop at email checking. No. I would then ask every single other student who had a King's interview if they had got an offer, and I would even go onto student blog websites to see if other students had gotten any offers. Guys, it was bad. This lasted about 3 months until I finally got my offer email in February. But those 3 months were filled of worrying, doubt, overthinking, thinking I'm not good enough, and basically convincing myself that I was going to get rejected. I know it's so much easier said than done, but I just wish I didn't stress myself as much and focused on doing things that made me happy, because by the time I got my offer, because I had been holding my breath for 3 months, I wasn't excited, I didn't celebrate, it was just a sigh of relief. Literally, imagine waiting for 3 months every single day for an offer, then to not even celebrate and not even be happy because you were too worried about the offer, that now you don't even have the energy to have a positive emotion for something you've been waiting so long for. If I could go back in time, I'll tell myself to just calm down, take a deep breath and accept that whatever's meant to happen will happen, and no matter what happens, I will be fine. Closely linked to my first point is my A-levels. Now, if any of you guys have done your A-levels or you're currently doing your A-levels, you just know they're not the best. They're not the best, and that period of my life was definitely not the best. My main regret for my A-levels is how hard I worked myself, to the point where I was in the library for 10 to 12 hours every single day. I put those exams before everything. I put them before my physical health, my mental health, my happiness. This meant that every single past paper had to be done, every single practice question in every single textbook had to be done, and I had to get all of these questions right. I did all of this because at the time my motto was, if I prepare well enough and if I do everything I possibly can, then I'll be happy with whatever results I get because I know I put my all into it. Now, this is not necessarily a bad motto. It's good to work hard, it's good to put your all into something, but I think I took that too literally and literally worked myself to the bone. At the end of the day, I'm really happy with my A-level results and I'm glad that they got me into medical school and allowed me to be here today. But I feel like I could have worked less hard, taken care of my physical and mental health, and still ended up here. My advice would be to, of course, work hard, of course put your all into your exams and try your best, but also have a good support system and take care of your physical and mental health, because these are so much more important than your grades. So naive little first year Hazal thought that when she started 1st year of medical school, she'll just use the same study methods she used in her A-levels because they seemed to work. And this included me attending my lectures, annotating the lecture slides, and then going home and making a new set of notes for every single lecture I had. Now, we had a minimum of 10 lectures every single week. So you can imagine that I found out that this method was simply not going to work because I had too much content to cover. I don't regret any of this because, you know, you live and you learn, life goes on, this is all fine, but I do regret what I did after. So even though I knew this method was not working, even though I knew I had to change it, What did I do? I stuck to using the same method. I continued annotating lecture slides and then going home and making my own new set of lecture notes because I simply didn't know what else to do. What I regret is not simply pausing and giving myself 2 to 3 weeks to try lots of different study methods to see which one works best for me. I feel like as medical students, and especially as a new medical student just starting first year, I felt like I had to get everything right. Like I couldn't simply not know how to study. So instead of stopping and trying something new, I just continued doing something that didn't work because I felt like that was better than not doing anything at all. However, it would have been so much smarter for me and better for me in the long run if I just stopped and took some time off to try lots of different study methods to see what worked for me. I somehow passed first year of medical school, and by the time I got into second year, I had found a study method that worked for me. This included using an iPad to make my lecture notes whilst I was watching the lecture. My advice would be to accept that you don't always need to know what to do, and you can take some time off to figure this out. So you might be thinking, Hazal, I thought you found a study method that worked for you. What's going on? What are you going to talk about now? Well. Let me tell you guys how I basically went through the same exact struggle again. First and second year of medical school is known as the preclinical years of medical school. Now, these 2 years are more theory based and you learn about the science behind the human body and the different conditions you need to know about. The third, fourth and fifth years of medical school are known as the clinical years. And these years are more about putting your knowledge into practice and learning from patients and doctors on hospital wards. Now you need to apply your scientific knowledge to real life patients and learn more about the treatment and management for different conditions. I knew that there was a change, but I didn't really realize how big the change was, so I continued using my second year study method. However, shock, this didn't really work. As third year was more about learning the treatment and management for patients and learning about the different guidelines that we have in the UK, simply making notes was not going to work. I had to do practice questions. However, I didn't realize this for a very long time. I'm talking like for months. I finally realized what I had to do a couple months before my exam, but this is definitely not ideal. So I regret not asking more people in my year and also other medical students I know about how to revise in your clinical years of medical school. My advice would be to be open about changing your study methods as your curriculum and modules change throughout university. And also be open to speaking to other people in your year to figure out what they're doing and make sure you're on the right path. On a more light-hearted note, I wish I joined more societies in first and second year of medical school. I did join a few societies, but I wish I joined a few more. In first year, I joined netball, which I absolutely loved. Of course, I wasn't in one of the main teams, but I still had weekly matches and I just loved the sport. I really liked the teamwork aspect of the sport and the competitive nature as well. And also, I wasn't too bad at the sport if I do say so myself. What I regret is not joining more societies early on. For example, Kurdish Society, which I finally joined in third year. It would have been really nice to join this society from first year, go to all the different events and meet all the people. But of course, I'm happy that I at least joined the society this year. Now, this is actually a touchy subject, but I really regret not continuing netball on into second year. Of course, in second year, we had COVID, so there wasn't really netball society going on. And when it did start, it was just really long to travel to training and to travel to all the different matches. So yeah, I do regret not playing netball in second year. And now I can't really join the society because obviously I go to lots of different hospitals around London and even some outside of London. So it's not really going to make sense, and the fact that I might not play any more netball at university is actually really upsetting. I'm being serious. If any of you guys have a team that requires minimal commitment, please message me. My advice would be don't be lazy, don't be shy, and just join all the societies you want to join because you can meet some amazing people, make some great memories, and also you might not get the opportunity again, so don't miss out. I know I said netball was a touchy subject, but this is also a really touchy subject. So if you guys haven't seen Lydia and I's third year medical school review, first of all, why haven't you watched it? I'm going to put it up on screen. It's a really good video. Make sure you go check it out. But in that video, I said that my worst thing about third year of medical school was, drumroll please, the essays. Those silly long essays that they made us write was my worst part of medical school. Not only in 3rd year, but also in 2nd and 1st year too. I just don't like them, they don't like me, and we don't get along. See, I don't regret the essays in itself because I can't regret the essays, they're part of my curriculum. But what I do regret is crying for every single essay I have written. Guys, I've literally cried about every single essay I had to write at medical school. So that's about 10 times I have cried just for some words on a piece of paper. You guys are probably laughing at me, but honestly, I'm laughing at myself too. I know it's a joke, but I don't like them to the point where they make my eyes literally water. Oh my gosh. Now, even though I know all of this, I still tend to leave the actual writing process of my essay to last minute, which also causes more tears and more stress. Let's all clap to myself. But guys, I'm not gonna let this happen again. In 4th year, we have our dissertation, which is an 8,000 to 10,000 word essay. Even though this is the longest and probably the hardest essay I'm going to ever write in my life, I'm determined to not cry about this one. If you guys wanna see if I do cry when writing my dissertation in 4th year of medical school, keep up to date with our medical school vlogs. My advice would be, if you don't like a specific part of your degree, don't dwell on it, don't cry about it, but just get it done. Do everything in your power to make it as easy as possible, whether that's getting extra help or starting early, and just get it done. But yeah, that's about it from me today. If you guys do want to watch my 3rd year medical school review video, which I mentioned earlier, it'll be on screen now. Make sure you guys like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in a new video next time. Bye.